Hey everyone, Brian King here again. I hope that I'm not interrupting your day. Feel free to tune in here and let me know that you're here. Give me a like, give me a love, give me some indication that you're hanging around. I just had an awesome conversation with a Facebook friend in Turkey. She's been following me for years and we've exchanged messages, but thanks to the recent updates in Facebook Messenger where you can do video calls and audio calls, we were able to connect very easily. And one thing that came up in the conversation was something that I actually see happening in the ADHD world, and something, honestly, as a clinician, I've been guilty of myself. And that is to quickly determine that if you have a child with ADHD and you have similar traits, well, it must mean you have ADHD too. Well, guess what I discovered? Yeah, the apple often does not fall far from the tree when it comes to Asperger's and ADHD, but it doesn't always mean that's the case. Because there is one other thing that is really good at causing focus issues, memory issues, scatterbrain, and racing thoughts. And that thing is anxiety. Anxiety all by itself can mimic in the brain what ADHD looks like to a diagnostician. And far too often we make that leap. If you say, oh, well, you've got two kids with ADHD, well, you must be ADHD. Let me give you medication. Guess what? Medication doesn't work. Sometimes it makes it worse. It makes the brain race more. It makes you even more fidgety. Why? Because it's probably ranking up or revving up an underlying anxiety issue. So that's something that I wanted to make sure that you understood. That even with your kids that do have a diagnosis of ADHD, look for some anxiety as well. The difficulty there is going to be the chicken and the egg thing. Is the anxiety a result of the ADHD? Whereas you're very frustrated, you're very self-conscious, you're worrying about failing people, disappointing people, and the anxiety is causing that. Or does the anxiety come first? And as a result, you're feeling scattered, you can't concentrate, it's harder to make decisions now. The real way to discover that is to do some reflecting. Think about when it started. Have I always been this anxious? Was there a time in my life where I felt like I was on the ball and I didn't have memory issues? Is this recent? Grief can cause anxiety and make these things more difficult for you. My overall point being is this. It's important to get to know yourself better. It's important to have this conversation with anybody that says, I think you have ADHD. Well, your kids have ADHD. It makes sense. It must have come from somewhere. Yeah, that's true. But it can skip a generation too. It's very common and very likely that ADHD and Asperger's is somewhere in the family tree, either in its entirety or in pieces. Hey, Tatum, great to see you. You can have traits of Asperger's and ADHD without having all of the qualifying traits, and that's okay. Because like I told my friend who I spoke to earlier, this is what you want to pay attention to. Regardless of whether you can label it, is it causing you a problem? Is it getting in the way of you being able to be as effective as you want to be? If you have a problem, hey Karen, if you have a problem with some scatterbrain, with some racing thoughts, and it's making it difficult for you to focus and make a decision, you don't have to run out to the doc and say, do I have ADHD? You just need to know that those specific habits of your mind are getting in your way. And then you can go about looking for strategies to counterbalance that so that you can prevent it from standing in your way. Because many people think just because I'm an ADHD coach that I only work with that population. No, I love to work with that population, but it doesn't mean I'm married to them. It doesn't mean I can't help anybody else. Because a lot of these challenges that are often called ADHD or Asperger's can exist in pieces and often do throughout humanity. So if you have any of those difficulties, and it's really something you're stumbling over, it's a wall you keep smacking into, you can reach out to me and say, Bri, I really need help with this. I've tried reading the books. I've listened to the audio programs. I've talked to my psychologist for the past 2 years and I haven't gotten any headway with it. Brian, do you have any ideas? And chances are I do, because not only have I had to learn to navigate this for the past almost 47 years and come up with some pretty creative solutions, but I've helped and continue to help people all over the world, often in ways their psychologists can't help them. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to do that. So don't give up if you feel like you've been pounding your head against the wall for 5 years. That doesn't mean the solution doesn't exist. It means you haven't found the solution yet. With 7 billion people in this world and growing, somebody has a solution somewhere. And as I always say, if I don't have a solution, I will find someone who does, because chances are I can benefit from it too. So hopefully these tips have been helpful for you. Feel free to comment below. Linda, thank you so much. She says that I have so many good points. I'm grateful it's helpful for you, Linda. Anybody else who's caught it from the beginning or even from the middle, tell me if these tips are helpful, because if they are, I want to make sure I keep bringing topics like this to you and information to you, because I only want to give you what you can use. You're kind enough to allow me into your life, even if it's just through Facebook. And I want to make sure I make it worth your while, that I give you value every time I show up in one of these videos. So think about it for a bit. If you came a little late, when the recording is live in probably about 20 seconds, you can watch from the beginning, and then you can comment. Ask me your questions, any questions you have. If you're a little shy, you can send me a private message. I totally respect your privacy. You can also add to these comments what other topics you want me to cover. If I've already covered in a video, I'll give you the link. If it's something I haven't talked about, I'll talk about it because you asked me to, because I'm here to be helpful. First and foremost, that's what I'm here for. And if there's anybody that you've talked to recently that's struggling with this, saying, man, sometimes I think I have ADD. Man, I wonder if I wonder if the kids got the ADD from me. If you think they're a little anxious, share this video with them, because it might be anxiety or it might be ADHD. But we don't want to jump the gun, call it something it's not, and if they do agree to medication, it being the wrong one and them having negative results. Because so many people are turned off to meds because the first time was a bust. It's not the end of the road, folks. There's always a solution out there. So thank you again for tuning in. Tatum, Linda, Karen, Angie, I really appreciate you stopping by. It means the world to me that you've taken a little time out of your day to help me do my thing. So have an awesome day, folks, and who knows, I might be back in a little while. Take care.